From Lenny Randle blowing Amos Otis's ball to a parachuter dropping out of the sky, these 1 in a million MLB moments are insane. Starting with that one time, a swarm of bees invaded the field. There are delays for rain, for lights going out, even for streakers on the field. But a bee delay? Now that's something to buzz about. A swarm of bees decided to steal the show and delayed the start of the Arizona Diamondbacks versus Los Angeles Dodgers game for almost 2 hours. Just 5 minutes before the first pitch, these winged intruders swarmed the top of the protective netting behind home plate, causing quite the buzz. Beekeeper Matt Hilton was about to enjoy his 6-year-old son's baseball game when he got the call to action. Trading his dad hat for his Beekeeper gear, he rushed to Chase Field in Phoenix. Hoisted 30 feet in the air, Hilton tackled the bee problem head-on with spray and a vacuum. The crowd went wild, cheering him on as he worked. Bonnie Tyler's "Holding Out for a Hero" blared over the speakers, setting the perfect soundtrack for the high-stakes bee removal. Hilton sprayed and vacuumed away the bees like a true pro, leaving everyone buzzing with excitement. With the bees gone, the game was back on track. Kick and catch. This has got to be one of the coolest looking catches in the history of MLB. I mean, did you see those lightning fast reflexes? I don't know about y'all, but get that man into ballet. But that isn't even the craziest thing an MLB player has done with a ball. Cause one time Lenny Randle got down on his knees to show how well he could blow. Can you imagine how much gas you need to have in the tank to move an entire ball just with your mouth? But as crazy as this looks, you can't deny this is one of the highest IQ plays anyone's come up with in any sport. But you don't always have to catch the ball to show that you're smart. Here, the great Ichiro Suzuki knows there's no way he's gonna catch the ball. But he also knows that the batter isn't aware of that, so he acts like he'll catch it. And that alone was enough to convince Joaquin Arias against scoring on Gregor Blanco's double. Turns out confidence really is the key. Speaking of faking things, check out this next 1 in a million moment. Greg Maddux pulled off a play that was nothing short of incredible. While on his way to securing his last win, he dashed off the mound to scoop up a short chopper near the third baseline. But instead of making the expected throw to first, he faked it. Then spun around to catch Nationals base runner Lastings Milledge in a rundown. Boy, that's some high IQ wizardry if I've ever seen some. I know that's wacky, but is it as wacky as Bobby Valentine returning to dugout in disguise after ejection? Bobby Valentine has been a character in baseball for ages, but there was this one game where he was managing the Mets where he really outdid himself. He got tossed out for arguing with an umpire. Nothing new there. But Valentine wasn't about to call it quits and watch the rest of the game from the clubhouse. No, he had to stay in the action. Now, while a normal manager might have tried to call the shots using a phone or something, Bobby had another idea. He put on a fake mustache and returned to the dugout. And you can guess how well that went. But speaking of things not going well, in this insane IQ play, the veteran Todd Helton outsmarts Carpenter by pretending to throw the ball back to the pitcher. But turns out he had it with him the whole time. And when the poor guy least expects it, he does this. But you can't talk about smart plays without bringing up the time Bo Jackson walked on a wall. On July 11th, 1990, Bo Jackson decided the laws of gravity were more guidelines than actual rules. Facing the Orioles, a fly ball heads deep, the kind that usually has outfielders tipping their caps. But Bo, he tips nothing. Instead, he opts to redefine physics on the fly. Literally. He charged towards the wall and he literally started running up the wall. It was like a scene straight out of the Looney Tunes.
Bo knows exactly what he's doing. Spider-Man!
Speaking of baseball anomalies, this moment will have you believing in magic. Jose Reyes took a big cut in the bottom of the first inning and fouled a pitch off, but he hit the ball so hard it literally split open. Don't ask for an explanation on why it's spinning like that though. That's just creepy. But it's still not as creepy as Chris Coughlin pulling off this insane jump. I mean, did you see the height he got on that? But Coughlin isn't the only MLB player who can jump. Check out the way Brandon Phillips made this catch on a game-winning hit. Did you see how close that was? Speaking of close calls, in this next moment, we have 3 of them, back to back. First, Arrieta's fastball went rogue at 89 miles per hour and hit Piscotty's arm. Surely, anyone would have thought that was enough for 1 inning. But unfortunately for Piscotty, as he tried to steal second on a wild pitch, he was hit once more. And just when you think his unlucky streak had ended, there was yet another surprise. Racing full speed from second after an infield hit, Piscotty must have thought, I'm about to score. But instead, the baseball caught him right in the head from a throw to home plate. But hats off to Piscotty. The man had enough composure to walk off the field, though he needed a little help from the trainers. And then, to no one's surprise, he got benched for a pinch runner and was checked for a concussion. And in this next one in a million moment, Ken Griffey makes the play in front of Ken Griffey. In the ninth inning of a tight game between the White Sox and Mariners, Sammy Sosa hits a fly ball straight to left field. The ball was headed straight for the 40-year-old legend Ken Griffey. But then his son, 20-year-old Ken Griffey Jr., burst in with the biggest grin and snatches the catch right before him. Better luck next time, Pops.
And it's Ken Griffey Jr. taking the play away from his father.
But moving on, let me ask you a question. Where's the ball? Sometimes the answers you seek are right beside you, attached to you even. Yadier Molina has cemented his place as one of the finest defensive catchers in the annals of Major League Baseball. But a particular game might have just unveiled the secret behind his prowess. He might just be a human magnet. How else could you explain the bizarre spectacle during the 7th inning of a Cubs-Cardinal face-off, when a baseball seemingly defied the laws of physics and got stuck to Molina's catching gear? And in this next moment, Matt Diaz helped security. Matt Diaz of the Atlanta Braves momentarily switched roles from outfielder to security assistant. During a game against the Phillies, a fan decked out in a red spandex suit and mask decided to take a jog on the field, leading security on a chase. But poor guy had no idea what was coming for him. Who knew Diaz could get down and dirty like that? Speaking of not knowing what players can do, no one knew Segura could play this bad. You know the old saying, if you get on first, steal second, then fail to steal third, just go back to first and try to steal second again. Sounds bizarre, but Gene Segura actually pulled off something like this, which people cheekily called stealing first. Truth be told, the whole scenario was even stranger than just stealing first.
And he's out. So the first time he tried to steal second, he was safe. The second time, he's out.
But was it stranger than a parachuter on the field? Bill Buckner was up to bat in the first inning with a man on base and just one out. He eyes a ball that goes low and outside, and then, hold up, is that dude seriously parachuting from the sky? Michael Sergio, a 37-year-old Mets fan, felt that the Shea Stadium crowd would need a little extra with their team facing elimination. So he did what any reasonable person would do and took a giant banner, slapped "Go Mets" on it, and leaped out of a plane, landing right on the field near first base. Sure, he ended up getting busted for trespassing and had to do 100 hours of community service. But he also landed a high five from Ron Darling. Seems like a fair trade if you ask me. But wait, that might not even be the weirdest thing to happen during a World Series game at Shea Stadium. New York was down 3-0 against Baltimore, heading into the bottom of the 6th. Cleon Jones was up, aiming to kick off a rally. Dave McNally, the O's starter, threw a pitch that went way down and in. So much so, it seemed to bounce off Jones's foot and roll right into the Mets dugout. Jones started hopping around in the batter's box, clearly hoping to snag first base on the deal. But home plate umpire Lou DeMuro wasn't having any of it. That is, until Mets manager Gil Hodges casually walked with a ball in hand, showing DeMuro a mark that looked suspiciously like shoe polish. DeMuro reversed his decision, and the next batter, Don Clendenin, smacked a 2-run homer. That homer lit the fire under the Mets, propelling them to a series-winning 5-3 victory. And in this next moment, Hulse fouls 4 into the Angels' dugout. In a late-season game between the Rangers and Angels, where stakes were low, rookie David Hulse turned the 9th inning into a comedy show. Down 4-2 with 1 out, Hulse steps up and immediately sends a foul ball zipping into the Angels' dugout. On the next pitch, he fouls another one right back at him. This sort of thing happens now and again. But on the next pitch, Hulse smashed another ball into the Angels' dugout. 3 in a row? Now that's something that never happens. But believe it or not, this wasn't over. On the 4th pitch, true to the script, Hulse sent yet another ball into the dugout. But what's even crazier is the time JT Snow rescued Darren Baker. So, Dusty Baker's 3-year-old son was rocking the role of bat boy for the Giants throughout the playoffs, along with a few other coaches and players' sons. Honestly, it was all smooth sailing and ridiculously cute to boot. But, you know, the World Series is a whole different beast. Cut to Game 5, 7th inning against the Angels. Kenny Lofton smacks a triple deep into right field. Baker, thinking the ball had cleared the fence, figured he had a moment to pick up Lofton's bat. That's when JT Snow comes barreling towards home plate, nearly colliding with Baker's mini-me. But Snow's reflexes kicked in, and he scooped up the little guy just in time. Here's Randy Johnson versus a rogue bird. There's Randy Johnson, all 6'10" of him, winding up on the mound, unleashing one of his ferocious pitches. And out of nowhere, this dove decides to play a game of chicken with a baseball. Spoiler alert, it didn't end well for the dove. I mean, what are the odds? In the vastness of the baseball diamond, at the exact split second Johnson releases the ball, this bird makes its ill-fated flight. If you tried to script this in a movie, people would call it too far-fetched. The sight of feathers exploding in midair was like something out of a cartoon. If there was ever a time for a record scratch in a freeze frame, this was it. Apparently, a bird can't just shake it off. Thanks for watching, and we appreciate all your support.